What's going on, Jerome's? I was told that this shirt is too festive for a Tuesday. Also, doesn't flamingos mean something? I don't know. I thought it was pineapples. Doesn't matter. Ooh, the ultimate one would be a flamingo eating a pineapple. Just covering all your bases there. But Minnesota Fighting Vikings veterans reporting today to TCO Performance Center Bar and Grill. Training camp, it will be on. Our first practice will indeed be tomorrow. So, of course, it's way too early, and there's going to be a lot of things to hash out. Some legitimate competitions, both for starting jobs as well as places on the rooster and practice squad spots. So this, of course, is going to be a fluid situation. But joint practices, preseason games, lots of things going on. But here is our way too soon beginning of training camp 53-man rooster projection. So first up at the quarterback spot. So Sling and Sam Darnold, Nick Mullins, J.J. McCarthy. Now, this certainly is subject to change. Also got Jaren Hall in the practice squad. I do think that they want to keep 4 quarterbacks in the sphere, but this is subject to change because if J.J. McCarthy rises up and wins the starting or even backup quarterback job, I think that they could probably safely get Nick Mullins down to the practice squad. He does have to pass through waivers first, but then once he is down there, they can protect him because if a team claims him, they would have to rooster him, and Mullins... It's clear that O'Connell likes Mullins a lot. He talked about him extensively at the press conference yesterday, basically saying that how he's a veteran he trusts, as well as he's a veteran who doesn't need a ton of reps to be able to be ready to play his role. So I see the value of Nick Mullins, but every single day, like everything that you read, whether from Seifert or what O'Connell said at the press conference yesterday, O'Connell is going to leave the door open for McCarthy to potentially win the starting job. And initially going into training camp, I thought that Darnold was like a 90% lock to have the quarterback 1 job. I think right now he's probably like 70-30, right? So he's still a significant favorite, but if you ever played poker, like 70-30s lose all the time, man. So, I mean, McCarthy could be that dude. With Jaren Hall, I think that so Jaren Hall does have the distinction as the only other quarterback that Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell have drafted together. I don't think that they want to give up on that per se. And also, I think that, despite the first half against Green Bay last year, I think that there's something that they can work with. And even though he is a little bit older, I think that he could be eventually be like a solid veteran quarterback for this squad, which for a 5th-round pick, I mean, that's not bad. Running backs wise, so no Cam Akers. Yeah, still waiting on the full word what the hell happened there, but Aaron Jones, Ty Chandler, King Kene on the 53, C.J. Ham as your fullback. They got to use C.J. Ham more. C.J. Ham just makes me happy. Like when he's involved offensively, which is good, man. Maybe it's just me hearkening back for like the days of yore, like the back in the day, like the... hate to say it, but the stupid Dallas Cowboys running the I formation with Moose Johnston and Emmitt Smith and 2 receivers, Irvin the playmaker, Alvin Harper on the other side before Harper got paid by Tampa Bay, and then the Buccaneers realized that they're a bad organization and they overpaid a wide receiver 2 to be a wide receiver 1, and then also Jay Novacek at tight end, Mark Stefnotsky at center. Let's go, man. Also, Dwayne McBride, who is currently on the NFI list. Hopefully he's off that soonish, as well as the veteran Myles Gaskin on the practice squad. Now, you could say, well, why have 2 running backs on the practice squad? Well, if you only roster 3 and there's 16 places on the practice squad, I mean, you do have that luxury. Also, same thing with keeping 4 quarterbacks in the sphere. That's what's kind of nice. Like, honestly, with the 90-man roster, if you're only cutting 21 guys, go from 90 to 69. Nice, because you got the 53 plus 16 on the practice squad. That's 69. Nice. Wow. Wide receivers. So roostering, Justin Jefferson just barely makes the squad, which is nice. Jordan Addison is there. Could he face a suspension? Who knows? Brandon Powell, Jalen Naylor, Trent Sherfield down there. Also, we just randomly put in wide receiver TBD. And I know what you're saying. It was, well, 6 receivers on the 53. Yes. What we're going to do. So that could be Adam Thielen. That could be Robert Woods. That could be a number of players who could be cap casualties or could be available for a small trade. But I don't know. Like, I just feel like they're going to add something. And the deck always gets shuffled a little bit before the start of the season. 53-man cuts every single year. I think that's a spot for it. Practice squad-wise, Tristan Jackson, Thayer Thomas. Coaches really love and trust them. I think that they're fringe 53 guys. Honestly, if you shuffle in, maybe Naylor doesn't stay healthy, maybe Sherfield doesn't cut the mustard, maybe Jackson, Thayer Thomas sneak onto the 53. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. And then cut waived Lucky Jackson, Malik Knowles, Ty James, and Deshaun Jones. Even though they paid Deshaun Jones a ton of money, we'll see. Tight ends. So Hockenson I have on the PUP list to start the season, just more of a precautionary procedural thing. He would have to miss the first 4 games of the regular season. Then 3 on the roster, Josh Oliver, Johnny Munt, and Bobby Tonyan. Practice squad, Nick Muse, cut waived Trey Knox, and the N'Keal Harry wide receiver tight end experiment is cut short here. Offensive line-wise, 9 on the 53, pretty standard. Darisaw, Brandel, Bradbury, Ed Ingram, and Brian O'Neill. Now, TBD who wins the guard spots. But for reserves, Walter Rouse, the day 3 selection from Oklahoma / Stanford. Dalton Reisner, last year starting left guard. Diamond Dan Feeney brought in to be that swing interior backup, as well as the ageless wonder David Quisenberry, who has played well whenever he's been tasked to fill in at tackle. Practice squad, T-Rob has been working with the second team right guards. Jeremy Flax, 6'5", 345 pounds, the pride of Kentucky. It's just, I want a massive mountain-sized offensive lineman, and we'll go from there. Michael Juergens, the 7th-round pick out of Wake Forest. Now, you can make a case that Juergens is going to make the 53. I think I've talked about that before. I like his game a lot. I think that it is suited to what the Vikings want to do. So hopefully he'll be able to impress and maybe even push for a starting spot down the line. Could play center or guard. Cut waived Henry Bird, Spencer Rowland, the local kid, as well as Doug Nestor. Defensively, all right, so defensively, keeping 6 defensive linemen on the roster. Jerry Tillery, Harrison Phillips, Jonathan Bullard are your penciled-in starters. Levi Drake Rodriguez, LDR senior sack, makes it, as well as Jaqueline Roy and the veteran Jahad Ward. 2 on the practice squad. Actually, didn't I put 3? No. Taki Tamani, the nose tackle. Jalen Redmond, the pride of the UFL, gets in there. The veteran Jonah Williams and Tyler Manoa cut waived in this situation. Then 5 on the edge. So I'd put out like a hot prediction that Patrick Jones would either be cut or one of the situations where you're trading him for a late round pick or a late round draft pick swap, because I feel like he's in a contract year. The Vikings would save about $1.5 million if they did move on from him, because what happens, especially with day 3 selections, is that the 4th year base salary, especially if they've played and they get incentive based base salary, it accelerates it, but the money isn't guaranteed, so it makes them a candidate to be cut, which is kind of unfair to the player, but that's how things are currently structured. But Grenard, Van Ginkel, Diamond Dallas Turner, Andre Carr II in year 2, the Pride of Army, as well as UDFA Gabriel Murphy making the squad for the edge. Bo Richter, another Service Academy guy, Bo Richter from Air Force. Then Porter and Jones are cut waived, but Jones could be traded in this spot. 4 off-balls, Pace, Cashman outside. How about that? Kamu Grugier Hill, as well as Abe Beauplan. Coming on in, man. The pride of Marshall. Let's go. 2 on the practice squad. Asamoah, which I think if it comes down to it, like Asamoah, he does have some work to do, and the coaches do like Beauplan quite a bit. But Asamoah, if he clears waivers, which he may or may not, could go in this spot. But also, there's talk about Asamoah potentially playing a hybrid role, a linebacker / safety, a little bit like Josh Metellus. But I feel like once you start moving positions on a player, that's not a good sign in general. It's a good sign for like Metellus last year, but in general, Dallas Gant, the UDFA from Toledo / Ohio State, does make the practice squad as well. For quarterbacks wise, 5, Shaq Griffin, Mekhi Blackman, Byron Murphy Jr., who I think that's going to be your starting 3. I think that Blackman and Evans have been rotating at that right cornerback spot during OTAs. I think that Blackman will rise up. Evans does have a lot of talent too, but hasn't gelled with what Flores wants to do on defense, and it is noteworthy that Blackman was here when Flores took over as coordinator last year. Well, he was drafted by Flores Kwesi. Also, Dwight McLaughlin, the UDFA from Arkansas/LSU, making the squad. Evans still sticks around. Practice squad, Jalen Williams, a slot machine out of Indiana from last season. Cut waived, Andrew Booth Jr., A.J. Green. Now, you could convince me that A.J. Green is going to make the practice squad. Made some nice plays at OTAs, and then go from there. Safety-wise, so 4 and then 1. Harrison, Bynum, Metellus, Theo Jackson, who has impressed quite a bit. Carry on my J-Word son on the practice squad and protected. But cut waived, Lewis Seen. So Seen, Booth, as well as Patrick Jones-Second could fall in the cut and or traded their rights for a late round pick or a late round pick swap in that situation, because just like Kwesi, like every GM around the league, it has a little bit of "Mama, I can change him" in him. So same thing with Seen, Booth, Jones the second. Just like, well, they didn't get the best out of them, I can get the best out of them. There you go. Then special teamers, Will Rackhurd wins the kicking competition over John Parker Romo. Seth Vernon wins the competition over Ryan Wright, which Ryan Wright, I mean, he probably was the best rookie from the 2022 class as a UDFA. But last year, just not good. And Seth Vernon, he's got a hose for a leg. And also the Dangerous Wonder, Andrew DePaulo, DePaulo's Bagels, holding it down long snapper, and Najee Thompson, who is currently on the PUP list. Hopefully he heals up and is good to go, is your special teamer. And that's it. That's at the way too early 53-man roster projection with practice squad, because we're not cowards here. Everyone does 53-man roster projection, but no one has the cojones, the huevos, the marbles to put out a practice squad. Actually, doesn't really take much. Anyways, let us know your thoughts and our thoughts. Comment section below. You guys know what to do. Skull production value.